What up? This interview starts with an apology. If you're new here, hi. I'm Paige. I'm the big dumb idiot that runs this channel, and I'm also a big dumb idiot in every other part of my life. So hi and welcome. I have been looking forward to this interview ever since Trophy Eye's PR team approached me to do this. It felt like such a milestone moment for me that one of my favorite bands, their team approached me. I was not the one begging and groveling like some worm being like, please let me do this. They actually asked me and it felt amazing. And I was looking forward to it and I was like, oh my God, every time I do an interview with somebody, I always use an iPod as a microphone and that's so stupid. I need to get a real microphone so they think I'm a real person. So I went out and I bought this Rode microphone. It's a shotgun mic and I thought it would be perfect. So I was like, it's directional, it's perfect, it'll just get us. And then when we filmed the interview, they were playing loud jazzy saxophone Christmas music in the venue. And all of the audio for the interview is totally butchered and you can barely listen to it just because you can hear the interview. But it's just so distracting hearing this stupid saxophone. And it would be so funny. I laughed editing it, but at the same time, I'm actually devastated. I've been sick to my stomach for 4 days trying to fix this audio or just to come to terms with what I've done. And it just sucks so much. I feel like the biggest idiot in the world. And I don't know. I just really had such high hopes and the interview went so well. I always worry that I'm asking stupid questions or everybody thinks I'm a big loser or it's so bad. But John gave the best answers and he was so emotive and passionate and watching it back, it's so wholesome. But the audio is just so awful that it's... I'm never gonna get over the shame of this moment. Yeah, so I have been trying desperately to fix this. It's not something you can fix. You cannot get rid of a saxophone that loud in audio that is recorded on one microphone. So I have transcribed this interview. The link to that is below if you'd rather read it, which I don't blame you for. Otherwise, you can watch the whole interview after this. And I'm so sorry to Trophy Eyes and to all of you and to anybody else involved because I really, really screwed up on this one. And I know these things happen. It's just, why today? I was so excited about this interview and I totally wrecked it. So yeah, just a forewarning before you're like, does this girl think this is good? I don't. However, John gave amazing answers that deserve to be heard because I feel like this interview was really good. So you can read it. If you want to, just mute the video and watch him talk. It's really wholesome and inspiring for the future of the music industry just to see people that care that much about what they do. Yeah, so I'm sorry. And next time I will do better. Okay. Yeah, so enjoy.
What up? We're here today with John from Trophy Eyes. John, thank you for being here.
Thanks.
It's nice to see you. And congratulations on The American Dream. Such a good album. Literally couldn't have asked for more from you guys. I really like how you guys kind of just abolished genre and went with your own thing. How was that different from recording your last album?
This time, I think Chemical Miracles the same, both the same way really. We went in and with no real intention to write anything but our favorite record. So I think that was kind of what set it apart from our earlier work. Just kind of going in and writing what it felt like and writing what we wanted to hear.
Yeah, it's amazing too because it's just, you don't listen to it and think oh, this sounds like, it's just there's so much going on. Yeah. Do you have any other new sounds that you kind of want to experiment with going forward?
Yeah, definitely. I'm always writing, so as soon as we got out of the studio, I was writing more different riffs and playing other things, and yeah, always trying to find something new and fun to add to the collection, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. I know I've heard a lot about the album inspiration, all the different bands you were listening to. You guys were in Texas. It's kind of like a different
tour, I don't actually listen to music. I listen to like white noise. And if you listen to it, yeah, it's kind of like the next best thing to like silence or no music, which is good. Like, yeah, you kind of get overloaded with everyone playing all the time, and like there's never really like a quiet moment. So yeah, when I do get a second, most of the time I listen to like just noise, which is But yeah, but I guess something I did just recently find, they're not new, but I just found them. Black Marble. Okay. Yeah, I really like them. And that's kind of what I've been listening to. Yeah.
It's interesting that you say that about white noise, because I felt like a couple of the songs on the album, like a Cotton Candy Sky, it's like you get a lot of like ambient voices and things, and it kind of does that, like settles you back in the middle of the album. It's kind of cool. It reminds me of like ASMR on YouTube. It's like the different like sounds, and you're like, like feel so relaxed right now, and it just kind of brings you back to focus in the middle of the album.
I think that's what the intention was, because the record's kind of up and down and everywhere and very exciting, like high energy and fast. So I think, they were definitely in place to kind of settle everything and so you can refresh and kind of like let your ears settle for a minute. Yeah.
I feel like with your albums, they're very personal. A lot of the lyrics are very, like you're kind of just bearing your soul to everybody. And I feel like that could be either really scary to share that with people or really cathartic to kind of get it out there. But also people around the world are all connected with it. They're screaming it back to you. What's it like going literally halfway around the world and still having people connected to you through music?
It's pretty crazy. It's hard. Like a lot of people tell me, like, oh, you should feel so lucky, and I do. I'm very thankful for how emotionally connected people are to our music. But at the same time, it's not like I didn't write it for that. It's just kind of when we first started writing music, I knew that if we were going to write emotional music and something that I was going to scream about, then it had to be real and something that I really cared about. So I suppose that's where that raw content or like lyrical themed things come from.
That was good timing.
But it's great. It's a great thing, but a lot of the things I sing about also is not something I would talk about to a stranger. So that's people come up and they go, oh, I heard this, and it's kind of like, shit, I'm not really ready to speak to you about that. I don't know who you are, and I don't know what lets me sing it in a song and like immortalize it. It's like really something you can't take back. But
well, that's the weird thing too. Is it's like you've shared it through music, but it doesn't necessarily mean you want to have a one-on-one conversation with every person about your life story. But it kind of opens people up to feel like they can ask that of you.
Yeah,
I feel like that can be a really awkward.
It gets awkward sometimes.
Yeah.
But I think at the same time, it's not. If therapeutic is the wrong word, but I think it's more of just like expression, like learning how to express yourself, and that's who I am. Like I like to be honest and real, and I don't really like small talk, and like so I think that comes out in my writing. So it's not something I'm ready to talk about at any given time to random people, but it's easy for me to write about, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, so I actually had a question from some of the audience, and they wanted to know, just because you're performing the songs every night to everybody, so I feel like you can kind of gauge the audience reaction based on certain songs. If somebody's new to your band, what songs should they start with to kind of get into it?
I think if I was going to introduce someone to our band, I would make them listen to Something Bigger Than This. I Can Feel It Calling. These are my two favorite songs, and like the best description of kind of like the polar opposites and the in-between that Trophy Arts kind of plays.
Yeah.
I feel like the last song on the record, The American Dream, is a great example of the slow, melodic, the fast, the sporadic, the chaos, and then that kind of epic thing we always try and do is kind of like flesh everything out and make it just explode, so you're kind of going like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah. It always feels really big, like, I want to see it in like a stadium. One day, we'll get there.
Maybe one day.
Call back this video.
Okay, that'd be cool.
So, speaking of your fans, every time I go online, I always see people with really cool trophy eyes tattoos, which must be cool just to see people kind of like putting that on their body forever.
Yeah.
So do you have any tattoos related to music, or are there any bands that you feel like you could do that for?
Yeah, I have a worthwhile tattoo, a hardcore band from South Cali.
Okay.
They're a huge influence on me. The record Carry On Kid definitely inspired I do find, like, yeah, I guess I'm just saying, like, I lock into music like that, and it changes my life and inspires me as well, so, yeah, I have a few music projects. Yeah.
One day I will. I don't have any yet, but, like, I know I'll go overboard as soon as I start, so
Yeah.
I'm holding off.
Yeah.
I know it'll get out of control. Okay, our final question is the most important question I can think of to ask. According to Twitter Beat, hardstyling is over. We're no longer doing hardstyling picks with bands. That's the new wave. So I was reading through all the comments. One guy had a really good suggestion that maybe we just reverse it and start doing like business handshakes. But like, what are your thoughts on like what is the new type of picture you kind of want to start taking? You
That's
just want to
a
do
good
like the
question.
normal like awkward like smile. And
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think it's so strange the way that works now. When I was a kid, I was too afraid to go and speak to anybody who played music, or there's no way I would go and ask them to do something for me like that. That's just beyond me.
Yeah.
I think now, like the involvement of the internet, and people feel like they know these people, they can go and ask anything of them. And a lot of the time, we're just kind of very normal, chill, like sensible people.
Yeah.
People come up and they're like, let's high five or put your tongue out and flip the camera off, and we're like, who the fuck are you? Like, I was doing something, you know, so it's like, it is lovely, and I would love taking photos and meeting people. I mean, me, I can only speak for me.
Yeah.
But I much prefer than just to stand and smile and wave. And if I got a photo with somebody I know, I would like it to be something presentable. Yeah, something that I can like take seriously later on. Like, if I met Johnny Cash, if I could somehow walk up to that man and say, excuse me, can I have a photo with him?
Can you hardstyle with me,
Would
Johnny
you
Cash?
hostile, bro? Like, can you imagine how stupid that's?
I would really like that photo, but I feel like 20 years down the line I wouldn't anymore.
No, I'd be brokenhearted. But like, I don't know. Yeah, I suppose I like to just kind of stand there and like me and who I am